What's up, everyone? So today on Vida, we're gonna do a quick tutorial on how to do the running pony, or they call it dynamic pony module. So just to kind of give you an understanding, this is from the original mirror, and this is the module that we're gonna have to remove. So it's on the very bottom, so you have to take this piece off, and to get to this piece, you have to take basically the upper assembly and then swap out not only the module, but you also need to swap out the entire bottom part, because if you look at the module size, they're completely different. This one has like 3 lenses. This is the one with the running pony, and this is static pony. As you can see, it's compare, contrast. There's 3 lenses here, just 1 here. So we need to take this whole thing off. And then after we take the whole thing off, we need to update forescan to activate the pony. So we're going to do that. So this one currently has the static pony, and with me I have some tools here that's going to help with taking this off. So first and foremost, we need to take off this back frame on the back. For me, I basically just go ahead and insert a trim tool and just really get it disconnected from the clip. Once I have it disconnected from the clip, it slides off as such. Put this aside. And then second thing we're gonna do is take off this mirror. Now to take off this mirror, you have to bend this mirror until you see, you can get kind of it's gonna be hard to describe, but to get to the inner part. And what you're trying to do, and I actually already disengaged it, but if it doesn't come off naturally, you're gonna have to get a right angle kind of a tool that looks like this. What we're trying to do is unclip, and these clips are not made to be unclipped. They're like one and done clips. So you gotta be really gentle to take it off. Luckily for me, I took it off already previously. And right now it's just a matter of taking it off the other side. So it comes off for me pretty easily because it's brand new. Now that I have it off, this clip on the bottom right. I'm gonna take it off and you'll see. See this little wire? It's right here on the bottom side, on the other side. You'll see it when you remove it. And then what I also do is I also take off the mirror. You don't have to. I like to. Gives me more room and I see it much better. So what I do is I just pull off these 2. So these are the wires that I pull off. Make sure you know which side. Usually the blue and black is on the outer. So when you reconnect, you remember, and this is the other clip that comes off. So when I say the clip from the mirror, what you'll see is that you have these little clips that goes around the mirror. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you take a closer look, they clip in. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get this, disengage it by having it lifted. But clearly you can't put your fingers behind it, so you need a tool. The reason why mine came off is because I've taken this off so many times that I guess this unit has gotten used to it. But if yours doesn't come off as easy, just take your time to pull. A couple of these clips may rip off. They'll still work. If it does rip off, you just need a few of these on, primarily the corners. But be really careful. Worst case scenario, you can buy these. I think they're like $50 or $60. But it's off now. Just put this aside. And now, in order to take this off, there's 1, 2, and 3 screws here. Again, 1, 2, and 3. So for me, I have to take these screws off. I get my tool. I have a little torque tool that fits. So it's 1, two. Remember, it's these two down, and yours may have another screw on the top. Mine didn't on the upper. And this is the last one here. Sometimes you'll notice that the tool that you get may not be the right sizing. It might be a little bit too small, but I have another torque tool available here that I can rely on and confidently take off the screws. So now that this is off, to remove the back part, it's a series of clips as well. There's a top clip here. So I'm gonna move the camera around so you can see the clip. So let's go take a look and closer, deeper dive at what we're looking at. So you have this clip here. This clip, it's a clip down here as well, and there's one on this side. So to take off this front back bracket, you just lift and pull. Unclip it up. Similarly down here, you kind of just lift it up and it disengages. So this whole thing comes off. Just go ahead and, for now, take off the wiring, harness, disengage it, put it aside. So now you can get access to the bottom. So this part, this bottom unit, there's a couple of clips where you basically have to pinch, and once you pinch and you pull down, it'll come off. Make sure you don't pull too much because there's a lot of wires underneath here. Once you get all these wires off and dangling, I'm going to take a step back. You need to take that same screw and unscrew your main camera and then also the module. So you're replacing this entire bottom unit. So I'm going to go ahead and take off our camera module screws. Here's one, and they're the shorter screws in case you aren't sure how to put everything back. So we're going to take this off on this side. This comes off, and then there's a little clip that you can just go ahead and grab, and voila, this is off. And then for the module for the dynamic pony, shortly, that comes off as well. Just make sure you put the right hand for the right-handed driver when you get the new pony. So now we're going to put the replacement pony, which has 3 lights. This gives the running pony look. We're going to put the camera back on, reverse it. So the way that you put it on is the way you put it back. Is the way you took it off. I apologize. I meant to say the way you install it is just reverse the methodology that you had. I'm going to grab one screw. Try not to do too many things at once. Get that one screw. Get it in there. Don't go all the way in yet. Make sure both are aligned. And get it in here as well. So as you can see, I'm just screwing things in. There's 2, and there's a little clip. Now, of course, make sure your camera goes right through. So this is the replacement. You see how the camera fits perfectly. And then lastly, you're going to go ahead and put this piece and match it back up with the pony module. Slide it all the way in. Make sure you get all the way into the clip. Okay, once you get it all the way in, it should slide in. Can't go any further. So this is it. So now this is all reinstalled. And to now put everything back together, remember this piece has to slide in like this. It's okay, you can put it afterward. Just make sure everything is not bunched up. To install this back, you need to slide this under this little seam. It's hard to see, but there's a little seam right here in the interior side. Just make sure you butt up this piece and then pull it up, and it'll snap in place. And then this outer part, you navigate this back to the said unit so it aligns here. And everything else, you just make sure the wires are not overly tangled so you can reinstall easily. So we have everything back in. Now we have to put this piece back on because that's where the screws are. These 1, 2, and 3 screws. So we remember put this wire back through this little notch for the camera. And then similarly, we move these things back. Slide it in. So make sure everything slides, pushes back in nicely. So now we're going to reinstall all our screws. I'm going to move the camera back here so you can kind of see what I'm up to. The reinstallation of my screws, bottom left. Have this all in here. This will hold the frame in place. My second screw is on the right, 1 of 2 on the right. This will hold. Make sure this thing is when you're putting this back in, make sure this part is aligned. And if it's not, you may want to align it first before you start putting your screw in. So I'm going to go ahead and readjust. And that's the thing, is that you don't want to screw into in advance without alignment. So we aligned it. What the alignment did was it helped adjust this corner part here. You'll see it in a bit, how it looks a lot more flush. And then lastly, we have one more to go, which is this part on the upper right. Again, it's this. I don't have to overly screw. Just make sure it's nice and tight. Our goal is to ensure this won't come off, which it won't. Nice and secure. This back part is nice and secure. I'm gonna put this camera back on. So first and foremost, I reinstall this part. So I put these little wires. I'm gonna take you closer. Let's see if we can do this. Go closer here. So we take these upper right wires here. The blue and black is on the outside. Get it in. And then the other one's on the interior one. Slide it. Make sure you get it all the way in. So we need these connectors to be attached, so they're good to go. And then this last connector goes on the bottom with a clip on facing the outside. And that should suffice. And now you have to just push it back in corner and corner. So I do the bottom right corner first and then navigate that on the top. Just get it back in there to that clip. Don't want to push too hard. Just like that. Clips are right back in and secured. And then we grab the mirror cap, tuck everything back in place. Just like that. Everything is now back together. The next step we have to do is to enable it using ForeScan. So we're gonna go ahead and connect our ForeScan cable into the car. ForeScan cable in the car. So we need to update the for the driver side and the passenger side. We already did the driver side earlier. It's called a DDM, the driver door module. So now we're gonna go ahead and connect and do the the passenger door module. I'm gonna see if I can get down lowered. We'll give you the actual forescan code in a bit. Let's showcase this right now. So we have the engine on. And then we're going to open up the forescan. So shout out to John Kennedy who reached out to forescan and got us a beta version, which is, I want to say, 5.5. It ends in 5.5. Yeah, V355. Because the previous version wasn't working, we were getting error code on the passenger driver module. So we log into the driver module. Go to connect to your vehicle. We're going to open and connect it to, again, we're going to try to connect it to the PDM, passenger door module. So wait for this to all load. Gonna have to clear my code. I had to take a whole bunch of things off earlier. And in fact, I'm still missing my rear battery. I'm sorry, my rear brake light that I had to remove because we were installing it for someone else. So just ignore the code. Those are what the codes are. Now we're gonna go to the passenger door module once this fully loads. Okay, now everything's loaded up. We're gonna go to our configuration and programming tab. We're gonna go find PDM, run it. So the PDM block that we are mostly interested are this one, 741-04-03. It's the same for driver side and passenger side. What we're going to try to do is we're going to take this 741-04-03. Right now it's reading 0101. We're going to change this to 0001. And then we're going to scroll down and write. So there you go. We know it's working. We'll probably do a larger one later.